Appreciate everyone being here. I want to say thank you to Niner Nation. Really a unbelievable energy-packed environment at Bank of America. I mean, they showed out. They showed up and showed out. And I mean, it was a great college football environment. I mean, it was loud. It gave you chills. And again, so I want to tip my hat to our fan base. I know our football team is very appreciative, and their heart hurts for not getting it done. But our opponent, App State, they deserve to win the football game. They out physicaled us at the line of scrimmage, and made plays. I'm kicking myself, probably being attacking right before halftime. We thought if we get a first down, get a field goal, get the momentum back, and Connor's on the throw is probably the best throw he had all night on our sideline. And so let's go. And we had unfortunately had the turnover, and they made the field goal, and that was a big momentum shift. And then coming out of halftime, they had the ball first and got points, and we were playing from behind from that point on. But back to the environment, it was again, tip my hat, and we certainly are looking forward to getting in front of our fans here at Jerry Richardson Stadium. Everybody has heard about the buzz on ticket sales, and it should be an electric atmosphere. I'm happy to see our student section get after it, and our guys to go out there and put on a show for them. So with that, I'll open it up for questions. I'll start with quarterback Connor. I thought there's some good things in there. I made the comment after in post game. It's difficult to play the position when your running game is not strong, and there's some tough pockets. He stood in there and threw the ball. Again, it wasn't perfect, but I thought he showed grit. And I know the quarterback position. If the football team sees a tough quarterback, they're gonna be tough as well. So I'm encouraged by it. I'll say I thought C.J. Stokes is really his first contact consistently more than 10 snaps probably in a scrimmage he's had in probably 2 or 3 years, probably closer to 3 than 2. I think he had an injury early last year maybe. I'm not sure how early that was, but he's been limited with the surgery, but he's I thought his pad level, and I heard this from Coach Fitch, talking to addressing the offense. I thought as the game went on, he started to get some of the rust off, and he got his pads down a little bit, and was starting to, get some of his running back skill sets, moving forward. So I think there's a couple things there, and I think Johnny King had a solid night in there. He had one holding call in there, I think, but so there's some things there. I think at receiver, I mean, we played 4 guys over 30 snaps, and I'll probably bring that up on defense as well. But that shows there's some depth in there. But we've got to find a way offensively to be more explosive. And so everybody wants the 4 and 5 yards, which they got all night basically, and that's hard to do to have those and just each drive. We need to find some explosives to alleviate some of the pressure of just being able to go 15 plays. And we had a couple 3 long drives, and one didn't result in any points, but the point being is more explosives will help us. That's a very good question, and I'm on record. I mean, I sat in Director Hill's office day before the game, and I thought we'd be able to. We'd be in a good place on both sides of the ball on the O-line and D-line, and that was not the case. I mean, I looked him right in the eye, and again, it's the first game. They had this roster turnover as and you just don't know what kind of players those guys are. The kid from Chattanooga. We watched the Chattanooga film. A good player. They returned 5 on defense. We've seen those guys. and they flip it over on offense. We prepare the quarterback that played. That's who we prepared for. We thought we'd see some wildcat. We did. Just by them not naming a guy. I think we read between the lines and thought it's going to be the LSU kid, and we'd see some wildcat. And you didn't see on the headphones for me. There wasn't. I anticipated some adjustments. I mean, we seen pretty much everything that they did. They were the back end was a little bit. They did a good job of mixing it up. I'll say that. Just in the film preparation, we thought, okay, these formations, but they did a good job of mixing the back end. But that's a quarterback's job. He's got to read that. Okay, so let me back to your question on how to fix it. I mean, I think in the D line we've got to get penetration. And we got to fit tighter. We had defensively, I think 11 or 12 hits on him. I think we had maybe one sack. I mean, the kid stood in there. We pressured. I don't know, 35-40% of the time. We thought that was the thing we could do, and to get him looking around at his feet instead of downfield. He did a nice job. He stood in there and made some really good throws. So if we can cover a little bit tighter just for a little bit longer, we're going to get home. So it's and then offensively, again we're a little bit of musical chairs right now up front in the offensive line, and we got guys we're moving around, so we got to get five guys settled in at their position, get some consistency up there, and play with lower pad level, and see where we're at. That's a tough one for me. As you said, I've been here since December. We're one game at a time outfit, and we're gonna find the positives and correct the mistakes. Focus on, hey, we got to fix the things that our opponent had zero to do with. All right, pad level, and we had some mistakes and things like that. That's going to be our focus. Now, I really can't speak to the biggest game. They're all big, and we're on to the next one. Yeah, yep, absolutely, absolutely, and we're going to try to. Uh, I mean, Grayson's very capable. You might see him. I mean, I think the game last night they switched. I mean, we're gonna just see where it's at. But we rep them both, and Zach for that matter. I said it wouldn't surprise me if you see all three guys at some point in time. It's a long season. Yeah. Again, that's not how I look at it. That's not my approach. But I mean, hey, I'm sure there's talk in the locker room. I hope that the things that we're building with our tradition and the history of football here, whether it be Alex Highsmith, who's at the game, he and his wife, or Judy Rose has been in front of the team, you know, um, uh, Jeff Mullen, former OC here, and I've had the um, Todd Aldridge. You guys probably don't know who that is. Steve Luke Wire, but they're behind the logo, our new branding in 2020. And I thought it was great for those guys to come in and share about the logo, the 9 degrees and what it means to be a 49er. Director Hill's been in front of our guys. So I hope we're building something that they want to play for, obviously the city of Charlotte, but, Charlotte University and our brand. Okay, I'm, I want to double check you on that rush three thing. We did rush three at times, but I think if I got it in my head right, we were 40% on the button on pressure, and they weren't all 6 man. We didn't have a bust, you know, that I can recall where we just blew it. Um, now we get tighten some things up. I mean they hurt us with some flood concepts. On our 6-man pressures, and the quarterback stood in there when we were coming right down, right down his throat, and made some really good throws. Um, I do know that we had a man called in the first half, and I think Trey overran his man. It turned into a big play that got us. We got a little nervous on playing man, and looking back on it, maybe playing a little bit more man would have helped us because we're tighter coverage, and that's going to give us a little bit. Some of those hits turn into sacks. But it's going to be a cat and mouse on the man stuff. But back to your question, I don't think we had a bust, but we certainly have got to improve, not only in stopping a run, because they had 180 yards rushing, and that's not going to get it done. That's not what we're going to be about. We got to stop the run, and yeah, I made the statement. I mean, when you invest as much as they have, and I talked about the people I've had in front of them on the history and the logo and the bricks and Judy Rose and Director Hill and the fans and the ticket sales. They want it so bad, not only for themselves but for all those people. I mean, my heart is hurt, because I'm just with them. So there's so many wonderful people that want this thing to work, and it's going to take work, and we're going to keep working. And if we keep working, we're going to improve. And if we improve, we're going to win some games. And so again, I'm sorry. I appreciate you following up with that because I didn't answer, but I got to get emotional. But they were a resilient bunch. All right. And I said it post game, but I've witnessed it. I mean, you got to clear the mechanism. You got 24 hours, win or lose, after you correct mistakes and positives. And they came out to work today. Now, I did just tell the team, I said, well, looking at our energy today, I would say everybody stayed up and watched the game all the way till the end. And I said, look, watch the first half and get to sleep because we were a morning practice team. But probably our energy, I would say they watched the whole thing because they were a little sluggish today. But I didn't see anybody. There's nobody that's not even, our guys are going to come to work, man. Yeah, I can't speak for them. They're on a little bit shorter of a week than we are. Um, from what I know, they're gonna just I know more about the defense. I got a chance to buzz the defense's film this morning because I watched it last night. They're gonna propose us problems on offense because they're gonna the front seven. They're gonna man you. They're gonna force you to be matched up. There's some TNT in there. Where they're going to force as many one-on-one blocks as they can, and then not all man, but there's enough man where we're going to be matched up out there, and we're going to have to win a matchup at guard, center, tackle. We're going to have to win a matchup at slot receiver and a matchup on their corners. There's going to be matchups, and so we're going to have to win some of those to have a chance. They're multiple enough. There's going to be things we haven't seen. I can assure you of that. I don't think it'll be a wholesale change. I think off their offense, they want to establish the run, and it'll be interesting to see what they do at quarterback. I thought the young man that come in did a good job, got the ball out quick, and the gentleman that started for them from Mr. Lopez. I've seen a lot of film of him. He was at South Alabama last year. We played him, and he can create dual threat, called runs. He's very, very talented, and so that's hopefully I answered it. Again, neither one of us are playing in the game, but hey, if you're judging by the number of Lombardi trophies, he is the greatest. End of story. And um, again, I've got a copy of his first book, and really, when I first got the head job at Ohio University, my second time to be a head coach, someone sent that book to me in the mail. To this day, I don't know who it is. It just showed up in the mail. So if that person is watching, I tell you, I don't tell him thanks, but obviously his record speaks for itself. I mean, he's a Bill Parcells guy, and I'm a huge Bill Parcells fan growing up. Just his career and what he stood for, and he's got some of the best one-liners on out there back in the day. And he was on his coaching tree, so it'll be interesting just to watch it unfold. Well, I'm going to shake his hand and wish him luck. Yeah, yeah. Again, I I think this is what TCU was able to get done. I mean, it's not it's TCU what TCU got done. They looked very impressive. And I don't know what their turnover on their roster was, but I know a little bit about North Carolina as they returned um, five on offense and one on D. If I got that, it's 5-1. I think that's what it is. The whole left side of the O line's back, and it's running back by committee, and then they returned to one receiver. But last night, the top target kid was the guy they brought in. So there's turnover there. Defensively, the Penn State D lineman. They got a couple from East Carolina. We watch film on East Carolina. Watch East Carolina to watch those guys, just like we watched the Chattanooga film on the App State D lineman. We're trying to piece this together. So there's a lot of new faces for them. It's their first game in a big stage. I'm sure there were mistakes in there that they're going to have an opportunity to clean up, just like we do, and to give them their best chance to move forward. Yeah, again, I'm humbled and my heart hurts that we didn't start off with a win for what you just said, and because our fan base is very, very passionate. Say what you want about play calling, you can be as critical as you want. I'm in the arena, and I'll take it all on because that just tells me passionate fan base. And so what else do you want? That's what you want. You go knowing every time you go out, step out on the field, man, they're behind you. So that's all you can ask for. Yeah, I appreciate you asking that, Hunter. Adams did straight line running today. It's a lower body injury, but he was going. I haven't seen his GPS unit, but he was running pretty good rate. Now he hadn't done any zigzagging yet or anything. And let's see, give me a second. Henry, I don't know. It's all about can he practice. I'm not going to get into the thing of he can play, but then he can't practice and play. We're not going to do that. It's not safe. And so I'm going to talk to Henry, of course, and the trainers and Jake Miller and see where he's at because I want him to be full speed, and I want the injury to have a chance to heal so he's not after the game or after he goes out and practices he's hobbling again. So I want to fix the cycle. And the only way we can do that is get him fully healed. Couple, normal nicks and bruises. I don't, off the top of my head, Hunter, it's the best I can tell you right now. Again, appreciate all you guys being here. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to play. Another Saturday, another week. Every week's exciting, so I'm excited to be out there and be with my teammates and play a good game.
I'll say that the effort was there. We just gotta push through even more and strain more, and that's the difference between winning and losing a lot of the time.
Yeah, I was happy with the fact that we stayed together. It got hard. It's gonna get hard again, But we stay together as an offense and a defense as a team, and I think that's important when going through losses or hard quarters, hard drives. You gotta stay together. I thought we did that well. Yeah, they did a good job. They did a good job. Um, we didn't get a lot of explosive plays. I think that's something we have to think about. As offense, I think we didn't execute as well. We were behind the chains a lot, and it wasn't less about App State, but just about our offense executing. I think my performance, I have to do better, and as offense, we're emphasizing we all got to do better. We all have to focus on what we have to do, not the other team, but penalties and all that good stuff. Yeah, yeah. I mean, every week you look at what the offense has success in. We'll watch it again. It was a late game last night. We had early practice, so we'll get a chance to watch it a lot more this afternoon and see where they attacked them. But that's every week thing. Where are their weaknesses, and how can we attack the defense? Yeah, I mean, whatever defense gives is what we'll take. We won't first force anything in the air or through the ground. So we just give the defense take what the defense gives us. Yeah, I think my teammates are looking at me, so that's something I emphasize. No matter if we're down by 70 points, I'm gonna go out there and play with as much grit as possible. That's just a standard I hold myself to, and I know there's people looking at me, so I think that's important. That no matter how hard it gets, the game, like I said, the game's gonna get hard. At times, it's not gonna be easy. So just got to keep going and persevering.
Well, I grew up a Patriots fan, so that's kind of a big thing for me. But honestly, we can't even focus on who we're going against because it's all about us, really. Like we gotta focus on getting our stuff right. Like Coach Farnes has a motto: "It's feeble, forget everybody but us." So we need to focus on us and not even worry about this matchup.
Yeah, I think same message that we're telling offense and defenses, and we beat ourselves last week. We feel like so we're going into this week, not worried about outside noise or anything. Just trying to execute and do what we need to do.
You wanna go first with me?
Yeah.
I mean, well, for me personally, I came from JUCO, so I'm used to playing. I mean, I done played games with no fans, 5, 10,000. It's really no difference. Honestly, you just gotta focus on playing the game because it's football at the end of the day. I think honestly it starts up front, and we got to get more pressure at the D line because, I mean, I only hit the quarterback probably 3, 4 times, and I feel like that's. I mean, you just gotta affect him more. Like he's getting the ball out in 3 seconds or less. Okay, so now we got to go to power, get a hand in his face. Affect him any way we can, and that'll help the coverage on the back end.
Yeah, I think for us, like I said, we got to focus on staying ahead of the chains. We had too many penalties on first down. I had a bad turnover. We had a turnover inside the 10. So, I mean, those things are what we need to focus on and kind of iron out our game to tighten it up. Yeah, emphasizing first down. So every time we're going out there, hey, we know what happened last week, so we're emphasizing it more. communication from my end. A lot of that starts with me. So I'm just making sure I'm talking to the guys more and more and more. Hey, this is first down. We know what happened last week. We got to make sure we're sharp, we're tight, and that's, I mean, obviously when you make those mistakes, they're going to be highlighted next week, and I think we've done a good job so far. We have to keep highlighting that, so it's not a problem this week.
I think that the biggest thing is he's asking for more effort from us every play, straining, finish plays, run to the ball, pursuit. That'll make up for a lot of mistakes, like missed tackles. If we rally to the football, then we don't even hear about that. So it's really just a lot of effort and focused on details.
Yeah, I think Coach Alvin did a good job of, hey, like, we lost the first game. We didn't play how we wanted to, but the world's not ending. We're not just everything we did just goes down the water. We're who we are. We're not going to change. We obviously change what like the penalties and the TFC, all that stuff, but we're not going to change as a culture. We're going to keep working, put our head down, and get ready for the next week. Turnovers, field position, and Charlotte doesn't beat Charlotte.
And if you're on defense, the T is for takeaways. I feel like, it's part of the game. It's football, and I love to play football, so I don't really care about a snap count, but that just shows me, got to do a little more conditioning, be ready to play, maybe even more, who knows. Just run to the ball every play and just be able to have my best effort every play.
There you go.
Appreciate y'all.